Hello everyone, welcome to the Ichimoku.co daily markets review for the trading day ending March 24th. Firstly to the S&P 500, and as expected a change of trend today. For the previous day's trading we saw the market set up for that change of trend. We had a continuation of the trend to the upside for that day, but we saw the sellers take control away from the buyers. It suggested a very real possibility of a change of trend. We needed confirmation, and we have seen that today, and quite strongly today. The low of today's candle is significantly below the low of the previous day, so it suggests that the sellers are very eager. They've taken control away from the buyers of 2 days ago and maintained the control from the previous day's trading. They've shown some very strong commitment in the depth of the candle, the close away from the previous, and also the size of the body. The size of the black body is very much larger than the previous day, suggesting that there's been a great amount of net momentum gained by the sellers to the downside. Importantly, the market has breached the 2093 level that was previous support and resistance, and that suggests that there is a real possibility of the market testing two lower levels. Now, just below where the market's trading, however, we have the Kijun-sen indicator trading roughly about 2079. Very close to there we have the Tenkan-sen, and we also have the top of this highlighted yellow zone of previous support and resistance, and there's likely to be some very strong support coming in around that area, so that's going to be a good test for the market. Now, if the sellers are strong enough to breach through the top of that area and through the Ichimoku indicators, we could find even stronger support down below there at the top of the Ichimoku cloud, about 2055. But at the moment we have still a bullish market in all three time frames. But if we look across here at the Chiká span, it's no longer supporting the bullishness in this market. It suggests that we've seen an end to that strong upside momentum that we had previously in the market, and we have a fairly neutral market in terms of momentum. So there is a possibility of the market testing to these lower levels. Now, just moving next to the S&P 500 futures on the hourly charts, and here we've seen a fairly significant event for today's trading, and we've seen the market breach down through the bottom of the Ichimoku cloud. So we now have a bearish market in the longer term time frame, with the market trading below the cloud, as well as the medium and fast term time frames. The market breached the Ichimoku cloud to the upside about a week or so ago, last Monday, and went on with the move on that day, trading up to the second pivot point resistance level, and then testing down to within the cloud and bouncing off there, finding support at the bottom of the cloud, and for the past week or so trading up above the cloud, giving us that strong bullish market that we've seen for the past week. For today's trading, however, we saw the market open just within the cloud and failed to breach the top of the cloud on two occasions, then initially finding support at the bottom of the cloud, bouncing off there to find resistance once again at the top of the cloud, and then eventually breaching down through the cloud, breaking the first pivot point support level in a bearish manner, confirming the bearish breakout through the cloud, and testing down to find support roughly around the second pivot point support level. At the moment, as the new session trades, we're seeing the market open well down below the Ichimoku cloud and below the middle pivot point level, and this suggests that there's a good likelihood of us having a negative market for the next day. Now, if we do see the market attempt to rally, we're likely to find some resistance around the Tenkan-sen initially. That's roughly about the 2087 level, 2088, 2087.13 at the moment, and that's because we see the slope of the Tenkan-sen pointing down quite sharply, and that reflects some very solid downside momentum in this market on the hourly charts, and very often we see that Tenkan-sen indicator as the first level of strong resistance, and we see the market sell off from there. Now, if we do see, and there's no guarantee that that will hold as resistance, but what we have to do is watch how the market reacts to that level. But if we do see selling coming in off that level, then we're likely to see the first pivot point support level trading down roughly about the 2078, 2079 area to hold as support, and that area should be watched very closely. If the market does breach the Tenkan-sen to the upside, the middle of the pivot point levels around 2089, 2090 should be watched very closely to act as resistance. And then above there we have the Kijun-sen and the bottom of the Ichimoku cloud, roughly about 2092, and should see very solid resistance around that region. Next we'll move to the Euro US dollar, and here we see the market rallying after getting very close to the support level around the 104.14 level. The market breaching through the Tenkan-sen indicator roughly about a week or so ago to find resistance at the Kijun-sen indicator and being rejected from there. For today's trading, as well as the previous day's trading, yesterday's trading, we saw that area once again hold as resistance at the Kijun-sen indicator, trading at 109.53 at the moment. The failure of the market to close up above there in a bullish manner does suggest that that is a very important area moving forward. Importantly for today's candle, however, was the support coming in at the 109.02 level. A candle where we've seen the continuation of the trend to the upside with the higher high and higher low made, but what we also saw here was the control of the market, which was in the hands of the buyers for the previous day's trading at the close, switched to the sellers today, with the market closing down close to the low. And it suggests that on the back of this rejection from above the Kijun-sen indicator, there's a good likelihood that we could see a change of trend. But I suggest that we should watch the 109.02 level very closely, because that's going to be an important level. And if we see strong bearish activity down below there, then we could see follow through in the market, change trend, and test down to the Tenkan-sen support and the swing low support around the 107.60, 107.44 region. Moving next to the hourly chart with the Euro US dollar, and here for today's trading we saw the market open up above each of the Ichimoku indicators and the middle pivot point level. The market then fell apart after the first couple of hours of trading to test down very close to the middle of the pivot point level, but the buyers came in solidly off the back of that support and then eventually tested to the first pivot point resistance level, following the Tenkan-sen providing some support. We also tested down below the Tenkan-sen to find support at the Kijun-sen, as the market also found resistance at the first pivot point resistance level. Following that area, we saw the sellers breach the Kijun-sen indicator with a bearish black body candle. A candle where we had a change of trend, but we didn't see the sellers take strong control of the market. We had a fairly neutral close in terms of where the market closed, but we then did see some follow through to find support around the middle of the pivot point level. For this new session, as we're trading, we're seeing the market test down to the top of the Ichimoku cloud and then bounce off there. So very solid support around the cloud there, and at the moment the cloud is at 109.05. Now, if we do see the market attempt to rally, as we're in a first time frame uptrend at the moment, there is still a possibility of the middle pivot point level at 109.47, and just above there at the Kijun-sen at 109.59 to hold as strong resistance. At the moment, the Tenkan-sen is holding as support 109.18. If the market does breach down below the Tenkan-sen, obviously that top of the cloud support may come into play, once again 109.05, and any breach to the upside above the resistance at the Kijun-sen could see the Euro US dollar on the hourly charts testing up to the first pivot point resistance level at 110.